Om Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantahe. Om Sahana Bhavato Sahana Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vitvishavahi. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Agajanana Patmarkam Gajanana Maharnisham Anekadantam Bhaktanam Ekadantam Upasmahe Shri Mahaganapatahe Namaha Gurave Sarva Lokanam Bishaje Bhavaroginam Nidaye Sarva Vidyanam Shri Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Asmad Guru Charanara Vindhabhyam Namaha Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Jnananandamayam Devam Nirmalaspatikakritim Adharam Sarva Vidyanam Shri Hayagrivam Upasmahe Shri Hayagriva Namaha Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambam Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Shri Mahasaraswati Namaha Uma Komala Hastabja Sambhavitalatakam Hiranyakundalam Vande Kumaram Pushkarasrajam Vetrivel Muruganak Har Harohara Lokaviryam Mahapujyam Sarvarakshakaram Vibhum Parvati Hridayanandam Shastaram Pranamamyaham Swamiye Sharanamayappa Vagarta Piva Sampraktau Vagarta Pratipattahe Jagadah Pitarau Vande Parvati Parameshwaro Shri Parvati Parameshwarabhyam Namaha Komalam Kujayan Venhum Shyamalohyam Kumarakah Veda Vedyam Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Asmad Guru Charanara Vindhabhyam Namaha Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare Shri Natha Narayana Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare Shri Natha Narayana Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare Shri Natha Narayana Vasudeva Pitambaram Karavirajita Chakra Shanka Kaumodaki Sarasijam Karuna Samudram Radha Sahayam Ati Sundaramandahasam Vatalayesham Anisham Hridibhavayami Krishno Rakshatumam Charachara Guruhum Krishnam Namasye Sadha Krishne Naiva Surakshito Hamasakriti Krishnaya Dattam Manaha Krishnadeva Samudbhavo Mama Vibho Krishnasya Dasosmyaham Krishne Bhaktirachanchalastu Bhagavan He Krishna Tubhyam Namaha Shri Guruvayurappa Sharanam Namranam Sannidatte Satatamapi Purastairanabhyartitanapi Arthan Kamhanajasram Vitarati Paramananda Sandram Gatincha Itham Nisheshalabhyo Niravadika Phalah Parijato Hare Tvam Kshudram Tam Shakravati Dhrumam Abhilashati Vyartamarte Vrajohyam Shri Guruvayurappa Sharanam Shri Bhattapadam Anisham Vibhavayami Vamshi Vibhushitakarat Navaniradabat Pitambarat Arunabimba Phaladharoshtat Purnendu Sundaramukat Aravindhanetrat Krishnat Param Kimapi Tattvamaham Najane Kairandum Kupinyan Vindu Mirakunnu Viraja Lochana Ninhodhai Yetinu Manyane Kumpirenda Toru Ritiyil Niyenne Padhikennai Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare. Good morning, welcome everyone. So just see did we already review third in the last class or no? Not
3 and 4, yeah.
3
and 4.
Oh, we haven't reviewed it. Okay. So let me see here who all are on. Srividya, can you do 3? Okay.
Yes.
And then 4, Ramesh, you can do half of 4. Okay. And then Sridevi Garu, you can do half of 4. The other half of 4. Okay, Ramesh? Mute little Ramesh.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Okay. Right, Sridevi 3 பண்ணு.
कृष्णाय परब्रह्मणे नमः. भक्तस्वरूपवर्णनं भक्तिप्रार्थना च पठन्तो नामानि प्रमदभरसिन्धौ निपतिताः स्मरन्तो रूपं ते वरद कथयन्तो गुणकथाः चरन्तो ये भक्ताः त्वयि खलु रमन्ते परममुन् अहं धन्यान् मन्ये समधिगत सर्वाभिलषितान् कदक्लिष्टं कष्टं तव चरणसेवारसभरेऽपि अनासक्तं चित्तं भवति भत विष्णो कुरु दयां भवत्पादाम्भोजस्मरणरसिको नाम निवहान् अहं कायं कुहचन विवत्स्यामि विजने कृपा ते जाता चेत् किमिव न हि लभ्यं तनुभृतां मदीयक्लेशौकप्रशमनदशा नाम कियती न के लोकेऽस्मिन् अनिशमयि शोकाभिरहिताः भवद्भक्ता मुक्ताः सुखगतिमसक्ता विदधते मुनिप्रौढारूढाः जगति खलु गूढात्मगतयो भवत्पादाम्भोजस्मरणविरुजो नारदमुखाः चरन्ति शस्वैरं सततपरिनिर्भात परचित् सदानन्दाद्वैत प्रसरपरिमग्नाः किमपरम् भवद्भक्तिस्पीता भवतु मम सैव प्रशमयेत् अशेषक्लेशौगं न खलु हृदि सन्देहकणिका न चेद् व्यासस्योक्तिः तव च वचनं नैगमवचो भवेन्मिथ्या राद्या पुरुषवचनप्रायमखिलम्.
Srividya, the last line, Ratya. So Bhavein Mitya Ratya. Okay.
भवेन्मिथ्यारत्या पुरुषवचनप्रायमखिलम् भवद्भक्तिस्तावत् प्रमुखमधुरात्वद्गुणरसात् किमप्यारूढा चेदखिलपरितापप्रशमनी पुनश्चान्ते स्वान्ते विमलपरिबोधोदयमिलन् महानन्दाद्वैतं दिशति किमतः प्रार्थय. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay. किमतः प्रार्थयमपरं विधूय क्लेशान् मे.
Small correction on the and the tha is not a full tha, right? So it's not prarthaya, it's prarthya makila. Prarthyam.
Okay.
Prarthyam makila.
किमतः प्रार्थ्यमपरं.
Correct. And then the second the chet kapra there is a comma, okay? So kimapya rudha chet and then there is a pause.
Okay. विधूय क्लेशान् मे कुरु चरणयुग्मं धृतरसं भवत्क्षेत्रप्राप्तौ करमपि च ते पूजनविधौ भवन्मूर्त्या लोके नयनम् अथ ते पादतुलसी परिग्राणे ग्राणं श्रवणमपि ते चारुचरिते प्रभूथा दिव्याधिप्रसभचलिते मामकहृदि त्वदीयं तद्रूपं परमसुख चिद्रूपमुदीयात् उदञ्चत्रोमाञ्चो गलितबहुहर्षा श्रुनिवहो यथा विस्मर्यासं दुरुपशमपीडा हरिभवान् मरुद्गेहाधीश त्वयि खलु पराञ्चोऽपि सुखिनो भवत्स्नेही सोऽहं सुबहु परितप्ये च किमिदं अकीर्तिस्ते मा भूत वरदगदभारं प्रशमयन् भवद्भक्तोत्तंसं झटितकुरु मां कंसदमन् किमुक्तैर्भूयोऽपि हि तव हि करुणायावधुधियात् अहं तावत्तेव प्रहित विविधार्थप्रलपितः पुरः क्लिप्ते पादे वरद तव नेष्यामि दिवसान् यथा शक्तिः व्यक्तं नुति निषेवा विरचयन् श्रीकृष्णाय परब्रह्मणे नमः.
Ramesh, நீங்க half பண்ணுங்க and then Sridevi garu you can do the other half, okay, because it's a long chapter. So
7 வரைக்கும் பண்ணட்டுமா?
7 வரைக்கும் பண்ணுங்க.
Okay. Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. Dasakam 4 Ashtanga Yoga. Kalyata mama kurushvatavatim kalyate bhavatu pasanam yaya spashtamashta yoga charyaya pushtaya sutavatushtimapnuyam brahmacharya ब्रह्मचर्यत्रिदधादिभिर्यामहि आप्लवादि नियमश्च भाविताः कुर्महे त्रिडमीमिषु काशनं पङ्कजात्यमपि वा भवत्पराः.
Ramesh, second line drida mami double ரெண்டு மா இருக்கு அங்க, okay, drida mami kurmahe drida mami
कुर्महे दृढममी सुकाशनं पङ्कजात्यमपि वा भवत्पराः तारमन्त्रनु चिन्तय सन्ततं प्राणवायुमभियभ्य निर्मलाः इन्द्रियाणि विषया ददा बहुर्त्यस्मे स्महे भवतु पासनोत्मुकाः अष्पुडे वभुषिते प्रयत्नत तारयेम दिशना मुहुर्मुहुः तेन भक्तिरसमन्तराधरात्ममम् उत्वमेह भवतङ्घ्रिचिन्तिकाः.
In the second line or third line, however you have it, so tena bhakti rasam antarardratam antarardratam
ரெண்டு இது இருக்குல்ல, தேன பக்தி ரசமந்தரார்திரதம்
tam tamanga tam
தேன பக்தி ரசமந்தரார்திரதாம்
yeah, correct,
மந்திர உத்வஹேம பவதங்கிரி சிந்திகாः
chintakaha, okay, not tile, chintakaha.
भवतङ्घ्रि चिन्तकाः विस्फुटवयभूतसुन्दरं त्वद्बभूषु शिरशीलनावसात् आश्रमं मनसि चिन्तयामहे ध्यानयोगनिरतास्त्वताश्रयाः ध्यायतां सकलमूर्तिमीदृशम् उन्मिषन् मधुराहृदात्मनां तान्त्रमोदरसरूपमान्तरं ब्रह्मरूपमयि देवपासते.
And the first line or second line there, madhurata unmishan madhurata hritatmana
ध्यायतां सकलमूर्तिमीदृशम् उन्मिषन् मधुरता हृदात्मना.
Yeah, that's it. Keep going. 7.
तत्समास्वतन रूपिणं स्थितं त्वत्समाधिमयि विश्वनायक आश्रिता पुनरतः परिच्युता आरपे महि चातरानतिकम्.
Yeah, and then the parichyutau it becomes. So ashrita punarata parichyutau.
Okay.
அங்க தௌ வந்துருது. And then it becomes ஆரபே மகிச்ச தாரணாதிகம்.
Parichitau. Okay.
பரிச்யுதௌ யுதௌ.
தால் இருக்கு நான் தான் போட்டுக்கேன். ஆஸ்ரிதா புனரத பரிச்சுதௌ ஆரபே மகிச்ச தாரணாதிதம்.
इत्थमभ्यसन निर्भरो लसत्वत्परात्मसुखकल्पितोत्सवाः मुक्तभक्तकुलमौलितां गताः सञ्चरेमशुकनारदादिवत् त्वत्समाधिविजयेतु यः पुनः मोक्षरसिकः क्रमेण वा योगवस्यमनिलं षडाश्रयैः उन्नयत्यजशुषुं नयाशनैः लिङ्गदेहमपि सन्त्यजन्नतो लीयते त्वयि परे निराग्रहः ऊर्ध्वलोककुतुकीतुमूर्धतः सार्धमेव करणैर्निरीयते अग्निवासरवलक्षपक्षगैः उत्तरायणजुषा च दैवतैः प्रापितो रविपदं भवत्परो मोदवान् ध्रुवपदान्तमीयते आस्तितोऽथ महार.
One second, that first line, right? Valarksha pakshagaihi. So the ir comes after vala. So valarksha pakshagaihi.
Agnivasa rava. Say it again, Ajishka.
Agnivasara valarksha pakshagaihi.
Agnivasa valarakshaga.
No. I think you are saying the first, the ra comes full ra. Agnivasara. That is a full ra.
Okay.
The next one is a ir. So valarksha pakshagaihi.
Valarksha. Okay, I will have to practice.
Okay, that's okay. It's vala and then a ir. Valarksha. That's it. Okay.
Okay, one full ra, next half. Astito tamaharalaye yada शेषवक्त्रदहनोष्णनार्ध्यते ईयते भवदुपाश्रयस्तदा वेदसः पदमतः पुरैव वा तत्र वा तव पदे तव वसन् पाकृतप्रलययेति मुक्ततां स्वेच्छया खलु पुरा विमुच्यते संविभिद्य जगदण्डमोजसा तस्य चक्षिति पयो महो निलयद्यो महत्कृति सप्तकावृतिः तत्तदात्मकतया विशन् सुखी याति ते पदमनावृतं विभो.
The previous line, right? The previous line. After that nilo, then I think the dio, the next word is dio, the and ya, dio, right? Keep that separate. So tasya chakshiti payo maho niladhyo mahat prakriti saptakavriti.
अर्चिरादि गतिमीदृशीं व्रजन् विच्युतिं न भजते जगत्पते सच्चिदात्मक भवद्गुणोदयाम् उच्चरन्तमनिलेश पाहि माम्. श्री कृष्णाय परब्रह्मणे नमः.
Right, so we'll start with Dasakam 5 today. So Kalpana, can you be a student?
Yes.
And then Shubhadra, you can be a student, okay, for the first half, and then we'll switch after. So stanza, Dasakam 5. So Dasakam 5 is talking about how the parts of the cosmos evolves, and Dasakam 6 goes into the Virat Swarupa Varnanam, so which is the description of the Lord with the entire world. By entire world, I mean all the 14 lokas as part of the Lord, starting from his foot to the top, how each of the parts of the Lord are the various lokas. So that is Dasakam 16. So
Dasakam,
six.
can
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Dasakam 5, what is the name of the Dasakam?
Dasakam, see, it's a evolution of the cosmos, cosmic evolution. So the Sanskrit, Virat Purushotpatti Prakara Varnanam. So Utpatti, so the evolution of the Virat Purusha is happening in 5. And 6 is the description. Once it has evolved, what is the description of that? That is 6. So stanza 1. Vyakta vyaktamidam na kinchida bhavate prakrita prakshahe mayayam gunasamya ruddha vikrutau toya gatayam layam no mrityuscha tadamritam cha samabhut nanno naratre stitihi tatrekastvamashishyatah kila parananda prakashatmana. I'll just give you a brief meaning. So like there are two types of pralayam or destruction or the end that happens. One which happens at the end of every day of Brahma's day. End of Brahma's day is one pralayam. Then that is a Vaikritika pralayam, and then there's a Prakritika pralayam which happens at the end of Brahma's 100 days. So in the first pralayam, which happens end of Brahma's 1 day, so 100 years, the second one. Brahma's first day, what happens is the people or the species don't exist, but the rest of the universe still continues to function, right? So that is all there, but all the living entities, everything is gone. But at the end of the Prakrita Pralaya, what it's saying here is everything that is there in this world in material form and in a subtle form. So material form are things which we can see, subtle form are things which we can sense, right? So all of that completely goes away. And here it says is all completely merged into you, and the entire universe is in equilibrium, and there's nothing that is happening in the universe, and it's just pure emptiness except you who are continuing to revel in your bliss. So that is kind of what's happening. This happens at the end of Brahma's 100 years. So vyakta vyaktam idam, vyakta vyaktam idam na kinchida bhavat. After bhavat you can put a comma. Prakrita prakshaye, comma, mayayam guna samya ruddha vikritau, comma, tvaya gatayam layam.
Can you say that first line again, Rajesh?
Yeah, so that first word in that has 3 parts to that. It's vyakta, avyakta, avyaktam idam, but it's combined. So vyakta vyaktam idam na kinchida bhavat. It's kinchit abhavat, but you can say it together. Kinchida bhavat, comma, prakrita prakshaye. Okay. Vyakta vyaktamidam na kinchida bhavat prakrita prakshaye mayayam gunasamya ruddha vikritau toya gatayam layam.
Rajesh, is it prakra prakrita? Because in Telugu it is prakra prakrita.
No, prakrita prakshaye.
Oh, prakrita.
Prakrita.
Prakrita, okay.
Go ahead, Kalpana, you want to go first?
Okay. Vyakta vyaktamidam na kinchida bhavat prakra prakrita prakshaye mayayam gunasamya ruddha vikrutau tvaya gatayam layam.
Kalpana, I think that after that bhavat,
oh, there is a
prakrita prakshaye. 3 words.
Okay. Vyakta vyaktamidam na kinchita bhavat prakrita prakshaye mayayam gunasamya ruddha vikrutau tvaya gatayam layam.
Vyakta vyaktamidam na kinchita bhavat prakrita prakshaye mayayam gunasamya ruddha vikrutau tvaya gatayam layam. Vyakta vyaktamidam na kinchita bhavat prakrita prakshaye mayayam gunasamya ruddha vikrutau tvaya gatayam layam.
No mrityuscha tadamritam cha Samabhoot. So if you have a samabhoon and then na no, in and then na, we're going to remove that in, make it it, and then put a comma. Samabhoot, comma. Nahnona ratrehe is there, put a is. Ratres stitihi, put a visarga at the end of that line and a comma. Stitihi. Next line, the first letter is, if you have it, you can remove it. Becomes tatraikas twama shishyataha. Is there put a ich sound. Shishyatah kila, comma. Parananda prakashatmana. So tatraikas twama shishyatah kila, comma. Parananda prakashatmana. No mrityuscha tadamritam cha samabhut nahno naratre stitihi tatraikastvamashishyatāh kila parananda prakashatmana.
No mrityuscha tadamritam cha samabhut nahno naratre stitihi tatraikastvamashishyatāh kila parananda prakashatmana. No mrityuscha tadamritam cha samabhut nahno naratre stitihi tatraikastvamashishyatāh kila parananda prakashatmana.
No mrityuscha tadamritam cha samabhut nahno ratre stitihi tatraigastvam asishyata kila parananda pragashatmana. No mrityuscha tadamritam cha samabhut nahno ratre stitihi tatraigastvam asishyata kila parananda pragashatmana.
Stanza 2. Kalah karma gunascha jiva nivahaha vishwam cha karyam vibho chillīlarati me yushitvaitadam nirlīnatāmāyayuhu tesham naiva vadantya sattvamai bhoho shaktyatmana tishtatam no chet kim gagana prasuna sadrisham bhuyo bhavet sambhavah. So here just continues explaining that to say that it doesn't mean that when the Prakriti Pralayam happens, that everything completely disappears, and then when the next life of new Brahma comes, everything starts all over again. Says that is not the case. The way it happens is, this is just the concept of matter cannot be created nor destroyed, energy cannot be created nor destroyed, right? So what it says here is all of these things still exist, except that it does not exist in a material form that we can see and visualize. It all exists in a subtle form inside of you. So everything is essentially inside of you because it cannot be created fresh. When the time comes, they all start manifesting itself. But at that time, for several, I think thousands of yugas after that point, when Brahma is not dead, at that time all of these still exist, but it all exists inside of you. That's what they just continue to explain that. So kalaha is there, put a ich sound. Kalah karma gunascha jiva nivahaha, put a visargam there and a comma. Nivahaha, comma. Vishwam cha karyam vibho, comma. Chillīlaratim eyushi. So that word comes together. So you have to say it together. Chillīlaratim eyushi tvai tada, comma. Nirlīnatam āyayuhu. You can break it that ma if you want. So nirlīnatam āyayuhu. Kalah karma gunascha jiva nivahaha vishwam cha karyam vibho chillīlarati me yushitvaitadam nirlīnatam āyayuhu.
Kalah karma gunascha jiva nivahaha vishwam cha karyam vibho chillīlarati me yushitvaitadam nirlīnatam āyayuhu. Kalah karma gunascha jiva nivahaha vishwam cha karyam vibho chillīlarati me yushitvaitadam nirlīnatam āyayuhu.
Kala karma gunascha jiva विश्वं च कार्यं विभो चिल्लीलारति मे युषि त्वयि तदा निर्लीनता माययुः कालः कर्म गुणाश्च जीवनिवहाः विश्वं च कार्यं विभो चिल्लीलारति मे युषि त्वयि तदा निर्लीनता माययुः.
And the very end of the second line, you are stretching that you, right? Is ayayuhu.
Oh, sorry. Nirleenata mayayuhu.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Tesham naiva vadantya satvamai bhoho, and then comma, shaktyatmana tishthatam, comma, no chet kim gagana prasuna sadrisham, comma, bhuyo bhavet sambhavaha. तेषां नैव वदन्त्य सत्त्वमयि भोः शक्त्यात्मना तिष्ठतां नो चेत् किं गगनप्रसूनसदृशां भूयो भवेत् सम्भवः.
तेषां नैव वदन्त्य सत्त्वमयि भोः शक्त्यात्मना तिष्ठतां नो चेत् किं गगनप्रसूनसदृशां भूयो भवेत् सम्भवः. तेषां नैव वदन्त्य सत्त्वमयि भोः शक्त्यात्मना तिष्ठतां नो चेत् किं गगनप्रसूनसदृशां भूयो भवेत् सम्भवः.
देशां नैव वदन्त्य सत्त्वमयि विभोः शक्त्यात्मनाधिष्ठतां नो चेत् किं गगनप्रसूनसदृशां भूयो भवेत् सम्भवः. देशां नैव वदन्त्य सत्त्वमयि विभोः शक्त्यात्मनाधिष्ठतां नो चेत् किं गगनप्रसूनसदृशां भूयो भवत् सम्भवः.
But in the third line, vadantya satvamai, do you have vibhoho in your book? No, right? There's no V there. Satvamai bhoho.
Okay. Desham naiva vadantya satvamai bhoho shaktyatmana dishtatam. Okay. Thank you.
Stanza 3. Evam cha dviparardakala vigata bhikshamsi srikshatmikam bibhrane tvai chukshubhe tribhuvani bhavaya maya swayam mayatah kalu kala shaktirakila drishtam swabhavopi cha pradurbhuya gunan vikasya bhidaduhu tasya sahaya kriyam. So now when the two parardas, when that finally gets over and then it's time for everything to start, it says the Lord cannot have desire. So he cannot have an intent to do something. Because if you want to do something, you're expecting something in return. So it says you do not have any intention or a will to create. All you do is just your glance triggers the process of creation. So whereby from you now all these things start coming. So first the concept of Maya comes, and then they go and explain how all the jivas which had got merged into it. So all the activities and the karmas and the effects of the various karmas, all of those things which are embedded into it, all the rules. So all of these start coming with Maya. So it's very complicated, so we won't get into too much details. But essentially it says you don't even have the will to create, but just your glance triggers the yoga maya to come, and then all this creation is starting from there. So evam cha dvi parardha kala vigata viksham si sikshatmikam. So that whole line is together and comma at the very end. Si sikshatmikam, comma, bibhrane twayi, comma, chukshubhe tribhuvani bhavaya maya swayam. एवं च द्विपरार्धकाल विगता वीक्षांसि सृक्षात्मिकां बिभ्राणे त्वयि चुक्षुभे त्रिभुवनी भावाय माया स्वयम्.
एवं च द्विपरार्थकाल विगता वीक्षांसि सृक्षात्मिकां बिभ्राणे त्वयि चुक्षुभे त्रिभुवनी भावाय माया स्वयम्. एवं च द्विपरार्थकालविगता वीक्षांसि सृक्षात्मिकां बिभ्राणे त्वयि चुक्षुभे त्रिभुवनी भावाय माया स्वयं
एवं एवं च द्विपरार्थकालविगता वीक्षां विसृक्षात्मिका विप्राणे त्वयि सुक्षुभे त्रिभुवने भावाय माया स्वयं.
So by the second line, the Bibhrane Twai Kapram, there is a pause, okay?
Okay. एवं च द्विपरार्थकालविगता वीक्षां सिसृक्षात्मिका बिभ्राणे त्वयि सुशुभ त्रिभुवनी.
As when the chu, the first and the letter is chukshubhe.
Chukshubhe tribhuvani bhavaya maya swayam. Thank you.
Maya taha is there, put the ich sound. Maya tah khalu, comma, kala shaktir akhila. It's kala shaktir akhila, 3 words combined. So kala shaktir akhila drishtam swabhavopi cha, comma, pradur bhuya gunan vikhasya vida duhu. That is there, remove it, visarga and a comma, vida duhu, comma, tasyas sahaya kriyam. Mayatah khalu kala shakti rakila drishtam swabhavopi cha pradur bhuya gunan vikasya vida duhu tasyas sahaya kriyam.
मायातः खलु कालशक्तिरखिला दृष्टं स्वभावोऽपि च प्रादुर्भूय गुणान् विकास्य विदधुः तस्या सहायक्रियाम्. मायातः खलु कालशक्तिरखिला दृष्टं स्वभावोऽपि च प्रादुर्भूय गुणान् विकास्य विदधुः तस्या सहायक्रियाम्.
मायातः खलु कालशक्तिरखिला दृष्टं स्वभावोऽपि च प्रादुर्भूय गुणान् विकास्य विदधुः तस्या सहायक्रियाम्. मायातः खलु कालशक्तिरखिला दृष्टं स्वभावोऽपि च प्रादुर्भूय गुणान् विकास्य विदधुः तस्या सहायक्रिया.
Stanza 4. Maya sannihito pravishta vapusha sakshiti ghito bhavan bhedaistam pratibimbato vivishivan jivopi naiva paraha kalhadi pratiboditata bhavata sanchodita cha swayam maya sakhalu buddhi tattvamasrujat yosau mahanuchyate. This just goes on to say, like I think in the Kapilopakyanam in the 15th chapter, we had actually discussed this, right? Where they're saying that the Purusha is there and the Prakriti, which has got the various attributes, right? Like the various senses and various actions, the Karmendriyangal, Jnanendriyangal and all that. And the Purusha is the unmanifested form and it is just a witness. It is only seeing it. It is not experiencing anything. But only when the Purusha is getting attached to the various attributes of the Prakriti due to Maya, then that becomes a Jivatma. So that's what it is saying here is you, the Paramatma, is the same as the Jivatma. It is only if that Purusha is now beginning to associate with the various attributes of the Prakriti, which includes intelligence, ego, and all the various other gunas and everything, then it becomes an individual soul or a jiva or a jivatma. But the one which is not attached to anything is just a paramatma. So that's what they're trying to explain how jivas are beginning to get formed. So Maya sannihito pravishta. So you say that together up to that point. So Maya sannihito pravishta vapusha, comma, sakshiti gito bhavan, comma, bhedaistam pratibimbato vibhishivan, comma, jivopi naiva paraha. माया सन्निहितो प्रविष्ट वपुषा साक्षीति गीतो भवान् भेदैस्तां प्रतिबिम्बतो विविशिवान् जीवोऽपि नैवापरः
माया सन्निहितो प्रविष्ट वपुषा साक्षीति गीतो भवान् भेदैस्तां प्रतिबिम्बतो विविशिवान् जीवोऽपि नैवापरः माया सन्निहितो प्रविष्ट वपुषा साक्षीति गीतो भवान् भेदैस्तां प्रतिबिम्बतो विविशिवान् जीवोऽपि नैवापरः
माया सन्निहितो प्रविष्ट वपुषा साक्षीति गीतो भवान् भेदैस्तां बिम्बतो विविशिवान् जीवोऽपि नैवापरः माया सन्निहितो प्रविष्ट वपुषा साक्षीति गीतो भवान् भेदैस्तां प्रतिबिम्बतो विविशिवान् जीवोऽपि नैवापरः
कालादि प्रतिबोधिताथ bhavata comma sanchodita. So some places in the sa when the dot comes, some places it's a im, some places it's a in. Here it is a in. So sanchodita cha swayam maya sa khalu comma. Next word you can break it as buddhi tattvam asrijat yosau if you want to break it, right? If you can say it together, buddhi tattvam asrijat yosau, that's also good. But if you want to break it, it's buddhi tattvam asrijat yosau mahanuchyate. Kaladi pratibodhitata bhavata sanchodita cha swayam maya sa khalu buddhi tattvam asrijat yosau mahanuchyate.
कालादि प्रतिबोधिताथ भवता संचोदि. Is it sancho or samcho?
Yeah, in that way it's a in sound. Sanchodita.
Sanchodita cha swayam maya sa khalu buddhi tattvam asrujat yosau mahanuchyate. Kaladi pratibodhitata bhavata sanchodita cha swayam maya sa khalu buddhi tattvam asrujat yosau mahanuchyate.
कालादि प्रतिबोधितात भवता संचोदिता च स्वयं माया सा खलु बुद्धितत्त्वमसृजत् योऽसौ महानुच्यते कालादि प्रतिबोधितात भवता संचोदिता च स्वयं माया सा खलु बुद्धितत्त्वमसृजत् योऽसौ महानुच्यते.
Sense of fine. तत्रासौ त्रिगुणात्मकोऽपि च महान् सत्त्वप्रधानः स्वयं जीवेऽस्मिन् खलु निर्विकल्पमहमित्युद्बोधनिष्पादकः चक्रेऽस्मिन् सविकल्पबोधकमहं तत्त्वं महान् खल्वसौ सम्पुष्टं त्रिगुणैस्तमोति बहुलं विष्णो भवत्प्रेरणात्. So तत्रासौ त्रिगुणात्मकोऽपि च महान् comma sattva pradhanah is there, put a is on pradhanas swayam comma jivesmin khalu comma nirvikalpam. So this one I'll tell you how to break it first. So nirvikalpam aham ityudbodha nishpadakah. So if you want to break it, you can break it in those four things, but you won't be able to say it clearly. So you say it as nirvikalpam ahamit yudbodha. You can try to say that together. Nirvikalpam ahamit yudbodha nishpadakah. Tatrasau trigunaatmakopi cha mahan sattva pradhana swayam jivesmin khalu nirvikalpamahamit yudbodha nishpadakah.
तत्रासौ त्रिगुणात्मकोऽपि च महान् सत्त्वप्रधान स्वयं जीवेऽस्मिन् खलु निर्विकल्पमहमित्युद्बोधनिष्पादकः तत्रासौ त्रिगुणात्मकोऽपि च महान् सत्त्वप्रधान स्वयं जीवेऽस्मिन् खलु निर्विकल्पमहमित्युद्बोधनिष्पादकः
तत्रासौ त्रिगुणात्मकोऽपि च महान् सत्त्वप्रधान स्वयं जीवेऽस्मिन् खलु निर्विकल्पमहमित्युद्बोधनिष्पादकः निष्पादकः तत्रासौ त्रिगुणात्मकोऽपि च महान् सत्त्वप्रधान स्वयं जीवेऽस्मिन् खलु निर्विकल्पमहमित्युद्बोधनिष्पादकः
चक्रेस्मिन् सविकल्प बोधक महन् तत्वं महान् खल्वसौ. So no pause there, comma at the very end. Sampushtam trigunais tamoti bahulam, comma, Vishnu bhavat preranat. Chakresmin savikalpa bodhaka mahan tattvam mahan khalvasau sampushtam trigunais tamoti bahulam Vishnu bhavat preranat.
चक्रेऽस्मिन् निविकल्पबोधकमहं तत्त्वं महान् कल्वसौ सम्पुष्टं त्रिगुणैस्तमोति बहुलं विष्णो भवत्प्रेरणात्.
Kalpana, third line, Chakresmin savikalpa. Do you have something else there?
No, sorry, I think I might have said something. चक्रेऽस्मिन् सविकल्पबोधकमहं तत्त्वं महान् कल्वसौ सम्पुष्टं त्रिगुणैस्तमोति बहुलं विष्णो भवत्प्रेरणात्.
Similarly, in the third line only, bodhaka mahan tattvam. It's the in sound. Mahan tattvam. Okay.
चक्रेऽस्मिन् सविकल्पबोधकमहं तत्त्वं महान् खल्वसौ सम्पुष्टं त्रिगुणैस्तमोति बहुलं विष्णो भवत्प्रेरणात्.
Rajesh, so it is bodhaka maham or mahan?
Mahan, in sound. N sound.
Okay. Because it says in here. Okay. Chakresmin savikalpa bodhaka mahan tattvam mahan kalvasau sampushtam trigunaistamoti bahulam Vishnu bhavat preranat. Chakresmin savikalpa bodhaka mahan tattvam mahan kalvasau sampushtam trigunaistamoti bahulam Vishnu bhavat preranat.
Stanza 6. Soham chatrigunakramat trividatam asadhya vaikariko bhuyastaijasatamasaviti bhavan adyena sattvatmana devanindriyamani nokrita disha vatarka pashyashvino vannindrachutamitra vidubede shri rudra sharirakan. Soham cha triguna kramat, comma, trividhatam asadhya. You can break at that ma if you want. Trividhatam asadhya vaikariko, comma, bhuyas taijasa tamasaviti bhavan. So there are in and then anna. So you first take that in bhavan, comma. Next one starts with the adan. Adhyena sattvatmana. So it says the first there was only the sattvic qualities that were there, and then from that came the tamas and rajasic qualities started coming, and from there started coming the various other players in the next line, Varuna, Indra, and everybody. So adhyena sattvatmana. Soham chatrigunakramat trividhatam asadhya vaikariko bhuyastaijasatamasaviti bhavan adhyena sattvatmana.
Soham chatrigunakramat trividatamasādhya vaikāriko bhūyastaijasatamasaviti bhavan adhyena sattvatmana. Soham chatrigunakramat trividatamasādhya vaikāriko bhūyastaijasatamasaviti bhavan आद्येन सत्त्वात्मना
सोऽहं च त्रिगुणक्रमात् त्रिविधताम् आसाद्य वैकारिको भूयस्तैजस तामसा भूयस्तैजसतामसा विधि भवन् आद्येन सत्त्वात्मना सोऽहं च त्रिगुणक्रमात् त्रिविधताम् आसाद्य वैकारिको भूयस्तैजसतामसा विधि भवन् आद्येन सत्त्वात्मना.
ராஜேஷ் ஒரு சின்ன
Ah.
கொஸ்டின் தைஜஸ் சதா மசா விதி அந்த பவன்ல வந்து 2 இன் இருக்கா?
ஆமா, அது வந்து எப்படின்னாக்கா பவன் இன் பிளஸ் ஆத்யேன அந்த ரெண்டு வேர்டு, ரைட்? When you join them and write as one word, it becomes a in and a na. That's what it is, right? So in the bookla வந்து they give it as in and a na, but because we are putting a comma after bhavan in, the next one becomes adyena sattvatmana.
But you can say it together like bhavan adyena sattva.
If you are not pausing, you can say it together. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, if you are, because we are putting a comma there for ease of saying it, we are breaking that. Otherwise, you can say that complete thing together if you are not pausing.
பிரேக் பண்ணும்போது பவன் மட்டும் போட்டு அந்த அடுத்த நா எடுத்துட்டு ஆத்யேனன்னு ஆ போட்டுக்கலாம்.
Correct. Exactly. Devan Indriya Manino Krita. Krita. You can put a comma after Krita. So Devan Indriya Manino Krita. Disha Vatarka Pashyashvino. Pashyashvino. So that is, remember the word Ashwini, right? So that's what it is. So Pashyashvino, comma. Vannindrachuta. So again, the easiest way to do this would be to remember what are all the components of this. Vanni means Agni. Indra. Indra means Indra, right? So Vannindrachuta Mitrakan. So Indra, Varuna, and all of them are there. So that's what it is. Vannindrachuta Mitrakan Vidu Vidhi Shri Rudra Sharirakan. Devanindriyamanino krita disha vatarka pashyashvino vannindrachuta mitrakan vidu vidhi Shri Rudra Sharirakan.
Devanindriyamanano krita disha vatarka pashyashvino vannindramachuta-mitrakan. Is there a pause after that?
No, there's no pause, but it's vannindrachuta. It is no in sound there.
Oh, vannindrachuta.
No in. Each sound. Vannindrachuta.
Vannindrachuta-mitrakan vidu vidhi Shri Rudra Sharirakan. Sorry, Devanindriyamanino krita disha vatarka pashyashvino vannindrachuta-mitrakan vidu vidhi Shri Rudra Sharirakan.
देवानिन्द्रियमाणिनो कृत दिशावातार्कपास्यश्विनो वन्नीन्द्राच्युतमित्रकान् विदुविति श्रीरुद्रशारीरकान्. देवानिन्द्रियमाणिनो कृत दिशावातार्कपास्यश्विनो वन्नीन्द्राच्युतमित्रकान् विदुविति श्रीरुद्रशारीरकान्.
We'll switch now. Vaidehi, can you be a student? And Sangeeta, can you be a student? Second.
Okay. Can I ask you one question in the second and the first shloka?
Yeah.
No mrutyushcha tadamritam cha samabhut. Is it nahno or nanho? How do we sound?
So that one is the ha is only coming first because the root word is ahne. Ahne means it's a day, of a day. So na ahne means not a day. So in that case, the ich has a half sound, right? That comes first.
Okay, so one he is different than.
One is the only one that is different. Actually, come to think of it, of everything that you're seeing, right? One is the only one that is different.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah. Okay. So stanza 7. Bhuman manasa buddhyaham kritimila chittakya vrityanvitam तच्चान्तः करणं विभो तव बलात् सत्त्वांश एवासृजत् जातस्तैजसतो दशेन्द्रियगणः तत्तामसांशात् पुनः तन्मात्रं नभसो मरुत्पुरपते शब्दो जनित्वद्भनात्. So Bhuman Manasa Buddhyahankriti. So remember the word Buddhi Ahankaram, right? So that's kind of joined together. So Buddhyahankriti Milach Chittakya Vrityanvitam, comma. So that whole line is together. Tachantaha is there, put a ich sound. Tachantah Karanam Vibho Tava Balat, comma. Satvamsha eva srijat. So this is just talking essentially, talking through how the various things are getting formed first, right? And that is how even when, so whatever is happening later on, all these things will happen in reverse. And what I mean by that is, so first from the Paramatma, all these things, the Buddhi, Ahankaram, and all these things start coming, right? And the various gunas, and then the Indriyangal, all these things, sense of touch and taste, the Karmendriyangal, Jnanendriyangal, and the Karmendriyangal, all these start coming. Similarly, when the body departs or when the soul departs, when it goes through the various planes, it goes in the reverse order. It starts losing each of these things as it goes through. So that anyway will come later. But essentially what they're saying here in the main summary here is all these Karmendriyangal, the Indriyas are getting formed. The definition of what that is getting formed. And then the first thing that comes is the attributes, the touch, sound, and everything. The sound is what is getting formed first, and the next one I'll explain some more on that. So Bhuman Manasa Buddhyahankriti Milach Chittakya Vrityanvitam, comma. Then I think already said that. Vibho Tava Balat Satvamsha Eva Sujat. Bhuman Manasa Buddhyahankriti Milach Chittakya Vrityanvitam Tachantah Karanam Vibho Tava Balat Satvamsha Eva Srijat.
Bhuman Manasa Buddhyahankriti Milachittakya Vrityanvitam Tachantah Karanam Vibho Tava Balat Satvamsha Eva Srijat. Bhuman Manasa Buddhyahankriti Milachittakya Vrityanvitam Tachantah Karanam Vibho Tava Balat Satvamsha Eva Srijat.
I think in the first line, you don't have to say Ahankriti explicitly. It's merged with Buddhi and Aham. So it's Buddhyahankriti. It's together. Okay.
Bhuman Manasa Buddhyahankriti.
Yeah. Sangeeta, are you there? Sangeeta is there. Okay. Sriram, நீங்க இருக்கேல?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to say that? Nikki, you can be the student.
Sure.
Seven. Ama, the Bhuman Manasa.
Bhuman Manasa Buddhyahankriti Milat Chittakya Vrityanvidam Tachandakaranam Vibodava Balat Satvamsa Eva Srijat. Bhuman Manasa Buddhyahankriti Milat Chittakya Vrityanvidam Tachandakaranam Vibodava Balat Satvamsa Eva Srijat.
Jatas Taijasato Dashendriya Ganaha. The is that is there, remove that is, Visarga and a comma, Dashendriya Ganaha, comma, Tattama Samshat Punaha. So that whole word is together. Tattama Samshat Punaha. So the very end, put a Visarga and a comma, Punaha. Next line, if you have a is at the beginning, remove that off. So Tanmatram Nabaso Marut Purapate, comma, Shabdo Jani Twadbalat. Jatas Taijasato Dashendriya Ganaha तत्तामसांशात् पुनः तन्मात्रं नभसो मरुत्पुरपते शब्दो जनित्वद्बलात्
जातस्तैजसतो दशेन्द्रियगणः तत्तामसांशात् पुनः तन्मात्रं नभसो मरुत्पुरपते शब्दो जनित्वद्बलात् जातस्तैजसतो दशेन्द्रियगणः तत्तामसांशात् पुनः तन्मात्रं नभसो मरुत्पुरपते शब्दो जनित्वद्बलात्
जादस्तैषसदो देशेन्द्रियगणः तत्तामसांसात् पुनः तन्मात्रं नभसो मरुत्पुरपते सप्तो जनि त्वत्बलात् जादस्तैजसदो दशेन्द्रियगणः तत्तामसांसात् पुनः तन्मात्रं नभसो मरुत्पुरपते सप्तो जनि त्वत्बलात्.
And the last the shabdojani sha, okay, the shabdojani shabdam, okay.
नभसो मरुत्पुरपते शब्दो जनित्वत्बलात्.
Stanza 8. Shabdhat vyoma tatah sasarchida vibho sparsham tato marutam tasmadrupamato mahotacharasam toyam cha gandham mahim evam madava purva kalanat adhyadya dharmanvitam bhutagramamimam tvameva bhagavan prakashayastamasat. Shabdat vyoma, comma, tataha is there, put a is, tatas sasarjita vibho sparsham tato marutam, comma, tasmadrupamato mahota cha rasam, comma, toyam cha gandham mahim. Shabdhat vyoma tatah sasarjita vibho sparsham tato marutam tasmadrupamato mahotacharasam toyam cha gandham mahim.
Shabdad vyoma tatas sasarjita vibho sparsham tato marutam tasmadrupamato mahotacharasam toyam cha gandham mahim. Shabdad vyoma tatas sasarjita vibho sparsham tato marutam tasmadrupamato mahotacharasam toyam cha gandham mahim.
Saptat vyoma tadas sasarchita vibho sparsam tado marudam tasmatrupamato mahotasarasam doyam sakandam mahim.
Here the first line la shabdat vyoma kapran there is a pause, okay.
Okay. Saptat vyoma tadas sasarchita vibho sparsam tado marudam tasmatrupamato mahotasarasam doyam sagandam mahim.
Evam madhava purva kalanath. You have a da there. We are going to break the da. So first put it there. Kalanath, comma. Next one is going to start with the a. Adhyadhya. Right, the double dhya coming. So adhyadhya dharmanvitam, comma. Bhuta gramamivam imam tvameva bhagavan, comma. Prakashayas tamasat. Evam madhava purva kalanat adhyadya dharmanvitam bhuta gramamimam tvameva bhagavan prakashayas tamasat.
Evam madhava purva kalanat adhyadya dharmanvitam भूतग्राममिमं त्वमेव भगवन् प्राकाशयस्तामसात् एवं माधव पूर्वकलनात् आद्याद्य धर्मान्वितं भूतग्राममिमं त्वमेव भगवन् प्राकाशयत्तामसात्
एवं माधव पूर्वकलनात् आद्यात्य धर्मान्विदं बोधक्राममिमं त्वमेव भगवन् प्राकाशयस्तामसात् एवं माधव पूर्वकलनात् आद्यात्य धर्मान्विदं बोधक्राममिमं त्वमेव भगवन् prakasayastamashāt.
So in that, just one quick thing. So the sequence of which the various things are getting formed, right? First it is the sound, like I said, shabdhat yoma shabdo janitvat balat. So from your strength, the shabdam, the concept of sound, or what sound is came. So the way and the various things progress. So the way that things progress is they all keep building on each other. First sound. So if you see in space, what they're saying is space is nothingness, but it has got sound. So the only thing that exists in space is sound. Second thing, that after sound, the next thing that forms is touch, the sense of touch. So as they say, the next one that is getting formed is air, right? So that is air. You can hear the air when there's wind blowing, and you can feel the air, right? When there's air blowing, you can put your finger up and you can feel the air. The next one that is coming is sound, and the feel is there. The next one is the form, shape. So that is fire. That's why here it says shabdat vyoma. So from sound, space comes, then sparsham comes, then touch comes, and from that comes, that is big, that forms air, and then the form comes, and then that form is actually fire. So fire now has form. It has a shape, right? When fire burns, you have a shape. You can touch and feel the fire. And when fire burns, you can hear the noise or the sound coming from the fire. The next one that comes from that is taste. So for the taste, the water, right? Toyam is water. So water is getting formed because that's now adding on an additional attribute of taste. Then the last thing that comes is smell. So from there, earth. By earth means not the physical earth that we live in, but the sand and the ground, right? So the earth. So that is how all these things are getting then formed by you. And what's going to happen in the next one is each of these are going to have various presiding deities who are supposed to take care of the various attributes, but they themselves cannot form the Brahmanda. So it says, you, O Lord, go into each of these deities so that you can now start the process of the formation of Hiranyagarbha, which is the entire 14 words, the Virat, which comes in the last stanza. So I'll tell them. But the next stanza, it is continuing on this, saying, once all of these things are there, then the deities themselves do not have the strength to be able to go ahead and create everything. So you then go into everybody, into each of these beings to be able to continue this. So stanza 9. Yete bhuta ganastatendriya ganaha devascha jata pritang no shekur bhuvananda nirmita vidho devairami bhistada tvam nana vida suktibhir nuta gunaha tatvanyamunhya vishanne cheshta shakti mudiryata nighatayan hairanyamandham vyadaha. So the hairanyam andham, the hairanya means gold, andam means egg. So the formation of the egg. So essentially the 14 worlds which exist, right, which are there, which comes in the last stanza anyways, but the overall shape is an eclipse shape, right, which is the shape of an egg. So that is getting formed, and for that to form that, like we said, all these various attributes come first. Each of them has an owner, and then you get into each of their owners to start forming that. So ete bhuta ganas tatendriya ganaha, put a visarga there and a comma, ganaha devascha jataha is there, put a if jata. So the next word pritang, so the last letter that is there is a ing sound, right? So ka ga ga nga, right? The nga sound. So pritang, and then put a plus there. Jata pritang no shekur Bhuvananda Nirmita Vidhau, comma, Devaira Mibhis Tada.
Rajesh, the second line, is it Nirmiti or Nirmita?
Nirmiti. Sorry,
Okay.
I say Nirmita, sorry, Nirmiti Vidhau.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Yethe bhutaganastatendriyaganaha devascha jatah pratang noshe kurbhuvananda nirmiti vidhau devairami bhistada.
How do you say prutang? No, how do you say it?
Yeah, I think that pratang, right? It's like what do you call it? It's like nga sound, right? So it's kind of N and G, but you don't say the G fully, right? So it's that ka kha ga gha nga.
Okay.
It comes on the back of your throat, nga.
Okay. Just to say it once, just that one word, prutang.
Pratang. I think you got it. I think pratang. It's kind of more a in sound, but a little bit of a ga sound. Think of
Okay.
it that way. Pratang.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thing similar to Ganga, like how we say Ganga.
Ganga, the gha comes more explicitly, right?
But no, but the ing is all right. The
In. Yeah, kind of like that, but a little bit less ga aspect, maybe comparatively. Yeah.
Ete bhutaganastatendriyaganaah devascha jatah pratang noshe kurbhuvananda nirmiti vidhau devairami-bhistada. Ete bhutaganastatendriyaganaah devascha jatah pratang noshe kurbhuvananda nirmiti vidhau devairami-bhistada.
Ete budaganaastadendriyaganaha devastajada pradangno se gurbhuvananda nirmiti vidau devairami vibhistada.
Devairami-bhistada.
Devairami bhistada.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ede budaganaastadendriyaganaha devastajada pradangno se gurbhuvananda nirmiti vidau devairami bhistada.
Tvam nana bhida sukti bhir nuta gunaha. That is there. Remove that is, put a visarga and a comma. Gunaha, comma. Tatvanya munya vishanne. So this thing, right? Some of you might have a ish coming in the next line and all that stuff. So the simple way to do this is Tatvanya munya vishanne. Put the in at the end of that line and a comma. And next line, if you have a ish, that ish goes away. So it becomes cheshta. Cheshta shaktim udirya tani ghatayanne, comma, hairanya mandam. Hairanyam andam, but you can say it together. Hairanya mandam vyadaha. Tvam nanabhida suktibhir nuta gunaha tatvanya munya vishanne cheshta shakti mudiryatani ghatayanne hairanyamandham hyadaha.
இதுல வந்து மூன்யா விஷம் அங்க மேல ஷம் மாதிரி இருக்கு, சோ அத
remove பண்ணுங்க. I think it is just see that way it is that bisham and then there is a ish coming in the next line, right? So that word doesn't flow like that. So the actual split there is bishan plus cheshta.
Tvam nanavidha suktibirnuta gunaha tatvanya munya vishan cheshta shakti mudhiryatani ghatayan hairanyamandham vyadaha. Tvam nanavidha suktibirnuta gunaha tatvanya munya vishan cheshta shakti mudhiryatani ghatayan hairanyamandham vyadaha.
त्वं नानाविध शक्तिभिर् नुदगुणः तत्त्वान्यमून्या विशन् चेष्टाशक्तिमुदीर्य दानि कडयन् ऐरण्यमण्डं व्यताः त्वं नानाविध नुदगुणः तत्त्वान्यमून्या विशन् चेष्टाशक्तिमुदीर्य दानि कडयन् ऐरण्यमण्डं व्यताः.
ராஜேஷ் ஒரு சின்ன கொஸ்டின்.
Ah,
தேர்ட் லைன்ல தத் ரெண்டு இது இருக்கு. தத்வான்ய மூன்ய விஷன்.
correct. Tattvanya. Correct. There's a two it's there. So Tattvanya.
வான்ய. ஓகே. Thank you.
Last stanza. Andham tat khalu purva srishta salile tishtat sahasram samaha nirbindhanna kritas chatur dasha jagad rupam viradahvayam sahasraih karapada murdha nivahaihi nishesha jivatmako nirbhatosi marutpuradipasamam trayasva sarvamayat. So this is where it is telling that Brahmanda or the Hiranya Garbham that was created, that right now all it has was, it only had these attributes that we first spoke about, right? The sound, air, fire, and all that, water and all that. But then you, O Lord, started creating the various 14 worlds, right? So now, since we are Sriram and Ramesh here, right? So when you do the Om Bhuhu Pranayama, right? When you do Om Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam, right? So those are the top worlds that we are actually referring to, right? With there's the 7 worlds which are on the top. And then there are the 7 worlds which are Atala, Sutala, Vitala, Rasatala, Talatala, Mahatala, and Patala. Those are the 14 worlds which are under. So those 14 worlds are now beginning to get formed. That's number one, what is happening. So you then enter into this Hiranya Garbha that is there, which only had these things, and then you start making this formation of the 14 worlds are getting created. And then, like it says, comes in Purusha Suktam, it starts with Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha Sahasraksha Sahasrapad. So you have Sahasra Shirsham, you have 1000, but it doesn't mean you have 1000 of heads, you have thousands of heads, right? That means you are there everywhere. That's what it means. And Sahasrakshaha means you have thousands of eyes. And all that means is you are there, you can see everything. Sahasrapat means you have thousands of feet, which means you can go anywhere you want. That means you are there everywhere. That's what it really is meaning, right? So that's what it says is, once you form these 14 worlds, then you then with your thousands of these hands, feet, and heads, you are there all over this Brahmanda in all the 14 worlds. Oh, that Guruvayurappa, please protect me and eliminate all the diseases I have. So this is kind of like the 14 worlds are what is called as the Virat. That's what it is called as. And then the Virat Rupam, which we'll learn the next one, is the form of the Lord, which describes the 14 worlds. So you now imagine the 14 worlds, right, stacked, and then you put Mahavishnu in there. So then from all the 14 worlds are contained within his form. So that is the Virat Rupam. But the word Virat just means the 14 worlds that are there. So this is kind of what I was trying to say. This is coming from the Purusha Suktam portion there. So Andam Tat Khalu, comma, Purva Srishta Salile Tishtat. So trying to say that together. Salile Tishtat Sahasram Samaha, comma, Nirbindhan Nakritash Chatur Dasha Jagadrupam Viradahvayam. So that line is together. So Nirbhindan Nakritash Chatur Dasha Jagadrupam Viradahvayam. The Viradahvayam is Ha and Va combined together. Hwa. That's what it is. Andham tat khalu purva srishta salile tishtat sahasram samaha nirbindhan nakritash chatur dasha jagadrupam viradahvayam.
अंडं तत्कलु पूर्वसृष्टसलिले तिष्ठत् सहस्रं समाः निर्भिन्दन्न कृताश्चतुर्दश दश जगद्रूपं विराडाह्वयम् अण्डं तत्खलु पूर्वसृष्टसलिले तिष्ठत् सहस्रं समाः निर्बिन्दन्न कृताश्चतुर्दश जगद्रूपं विराडाह्वयम्
अण्डं तत्खलु पूर्वसृष्टसलीले तिष्ठत् सहस्रं समाः निर्बिन्दन् न कृताश्चतुर्दश जगद्रूपं विराडाव्यहम्.
In the last one, Sharashina, Viradahvayam. So ich, half ha, and va, hwa, Viradahvayam.
Okay. Andam tatkalu purva srishta salile tishtat sagasram samaha nirbindan nakritas sadur dasa jagat trubam viradahvayam.
Sahasraihi is there, put a ich sound. Sahasraih kara pada murdha nivahaihi. So on top of that knee, next to knee, if you have a ir, remove that off. So nivahaihi, visarga and a comma. Nishesha jivatmako, comma. Nirbhatosi, and then you can put a comma there. Marut puradhipa samam trayasva sarvamayat. Sahasraih karapada murdha nivahaihi nishesha jivatmako nirbhatosi marut puradhipa samam trayasva sarvamayad.
सहस्रैः करपादमूर्धनिवहैः निःशेषजीवात्मको निर्भातोऽसि मरुत्पुराधिपसमां त्रायस्व सर्वामयात् सहस्रैः करपादमूर्धनिवहैः निःशेषजीवात्मको निर्भातोऽसि मरुत्पुराधिपसमां त्रायस्व सर्वामयात्.
Sahasraihi karapada murda nivahaihi nissesha jivatmago nirpadosi marutpuradipa samam trayasva sarvamayat.
On the third line, Sahasraihi, you put the ich sound to join it. You don't have to say that visarga. So it becomes Sahasraih Karapada. Okay. And then last line, Nirbhatosi. After that, there is a pause.
Okay. Well, Sahasraihi then,
and the visarga, because the letter Ka is coming later, right? So you put the ich sound to join it. So Sahasraih Karapada Murdhanivahaihi.
I'm sorry. Sahasraih karapada murta nivahaihi nissesha jivatmago nirpadosi marutpuradipa samam trayasya sarvamayat.
Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. We'll end the class here. We only have 5 more minutes, so I don't want to start the next one. Sandhanandhava bodhatmakamanupamitam kaladeshavadebhyam Nirmuktam nityamuktam nigamashata sahasrena nirbhasyamanam aspashtam drishtamatre punarurupurushartatmakam brahma tattvam tattavad bhati sakshat guru pavanapure hanta bhagyam jananam kahena vacha manasendriyerva buddhyatmana va prakrite swabhavat karomi yatyat sakalam parasmai Narayanayeti samarpayami.